An independent report leaked to the media has found that racism and bias played a part in how Winnipeg firefighters responded to an Indigenous woman in distress. Now the service is acknowledging problems with the culture of the department and is promising change. Sean Kavanagh has the details.
For some, the findings in the report speak to what emergency responders are supposed to be doing, and in this case, didn't.
Their color or their anything has nothing to do with it. That's your job. Take care of them.
On October 7th last fall, members of the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service responded to a call on Selkirk Avenue for an Indigenous woman with a self-inflicted wound in her neck. An ambulance paramedic asked the firefighters for help in the ambulance to stop the bleeding. The report shows one walked away, and another didn't move with the speed required for this type of injury. And the report singles out why. Quote, based on the totality of the evidence, the investigator has identified the patient's social standing, race, or indigeneity as the likely subject of implicit bias that affected the conduct of some members that night. The woman did survive her injury, though the report described the delay getting her to the hospital as, quote, unacceptable and said the incident could have been a near miss. The chief of the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service acknowledged there was a problem with the call, said the service had zero tolerance for racism, but also said this one incident is rare among tens of thousands of calls each year.
This is, one example like this is too many, but this is one example.
The incident isn't just about the attitude of the firefighters to an Indigenous patient. The paramedic on this call, a person of color, had previously complained about racist behavior by firefighters. And the report says that also contributed to their behavior at the scene toward him. Quote, there are signs of implicit racial bias toward the complainant in the form of questioning and dismissing the judgment of the complainant as a medical authority on the scene. With these type of allegations confirmed by an independent review of the facts, there are now calls for action.
And then once the system finds out about it, then disciplinary action needs to be taken.
But we may never know what, if any, discipline the firefighters themselves might face for their behavior because of collective agreements and human resource issues. The Fire Paramedic Service has committed to anti-bias, anti-racism training for its members and a third-party review of the culture of its workplace. But anything else will be kept private.
We will not be divulging any further information.
The Manitoba Government Employees Union, which represents ambulance paramedics, calls training and education, quote, baby steps that might be worthwhile, but said they fall far short of what is needed to deal with the seriousness of the problem within the Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service. Sean Kavanagh, CBC News, Winnipeg.